Have you ever hit play on a song and just wondered, what happens next? I mean, where does your money actually go? Well, today, we're going to try and decode the incredibly complex and, yeah, often frustrating world of music streaming payouts. It's time to follow the money. This number, $0.003. This is the number that basically haunts the entire music industry. It's the figure you see everywhere, right? It's become this symbol for an economy where you can get millions of plays and still barely pay your rent. But what does it even mean?
Because here's the thing, that tiny, tiny fraction of a cent doesn't just land in an artist's bank account. Oh no, it goes on this wild journey through a maze of rights holders and platforms and contracts. So our job today? We're going to trace that journey.
Okay, first things first, we have got to dismantle the biggest misconception out there, which is this whole idea that there's some kind of fixed rate for every single stream.
Yeah, that number is just an average. It's a moving target. The actual payout is changing all the time. It depends on which platform you're on. Apple Music pays out differently than YouTube, for example. But it also depends on if the listener has a premium subscription, where they are in the world, and even how much ad revenue was generated that specific month.
So, once that little bit of money is finally generated by a stream, who gets the first cut? The answer to this question reveals the first major fork in the road.
And here it is, the first big slice of the pie. Roughly 30% goes right back to the platform itself, Spotify, Apple Music, you name it. Then about 10% goes to the songwriters and the publishers. And that huge 60% chunk, that goes to whoever owns the master recording. Now take a good look. Who's not on this chart? The artist. Not yet. And this brings us right to the heart of the issue. How does that big master recording share eventually find its way to the person who actually, sang the song?
Well, for an artist who's signed to a traditional record label, the label is the master rights holder, so they're the ones who collect that 60% share first. But the artist doesn't just get a simple cut of that. No. First, they have to pay the label back for all of its investments. And this process has a name, recoupment.
So here's how that works in the real world. The label takes its share. Let's say it's about 0.2 of a cent. From that, they start subtracting. Any advances they paid the artist, subtracted. All those marketing expenses, subtracted. The cost of that cool music video, you got it, subtracted. Tour support, everything. It's only after all of those debts are paid back that the artist finally sees their royalties, which is often just a small percentage of what's left. As you can see, that initial number shrinks a lot. And this really shows you the fundamental trade-off. A signed artist gets the label's money up front. They get the marketing muscle, but they're left with a tiny slice of the pie after recoupment. On the flip side, an independent artist has to fund everything themselves, which is a huge, huge risk. But if they make it, they keep almost the entire master share. We're talking potentially 3 to 5 times more per stream. But the artist's deal, believe it or not, is only half the story. The other half is the actual architecture of the streaming platforms themselves, and this has a massive impact on who gets paid.
Almost every major platform uses something called a pro rata system. It's a pretty simple idea, but it has enormous consequences. Basically, all the money from every single subscription and every ad on the entire platform for a given month, it all just goes into one giant pot.
And this is the part that blows people's minds. Your $10 a month doesn't get split up among the artists you actually listen to. Nope. Instead, it goes into that one giant pool, which is then divided up based on who had the biggest market share of all the streams on the platform. This means a huge portion of your subscription fee ends up funding the world's biggest pop stars, even if you never listen to a single one of their songs.
So, this system has, understandably, faced a lot of criticism for favoring the superstars over niche artists. So, are there any alternatives being looked at? The main alternative is called the user-centric model, and it's really simple. Your subscription money would only go to the artists you actually streamed. A few platforms are starting to test this, and the early results suggest it does distribute money more fairly to smaller artists. The biggest hurdle, though, is the industry's incredibly complex and non-transparent web of contracts.
So when we look at that infamous .003 number, maybe we've been asking the wrong question the whole time. It's not just about how small the payment is per stream. The real story is about the journey that money takes, and about understanding who is positioned at every step of the way to keep the largest share.